Hello students. So far up to our last class we have learned what are the different microorganisms. There are some good rule, that is a beneficial rule, and how they harm us, harmful activities of these microbes, and different roles in they are in production of different medicines. In this class we will learn two more aspects of microbes. First is food preservation, then the next one will be nitrogen fixation, and then this chapter is over. So today we will try to finish the whole chapter, and then from the next class we will go for question answer session. Okay, so let's start. So what is food preservation? We all know food is what we eat, it known as food. And preservation means saving. Okay, preservation means you are preserving something. For example, your mother or father brings some vegetable from the market or some fish from the market, and you are keeping this fish or vegetable in fridge at your home, and you are eating it for after 3 to 4 days later. Okay, so what you are doing, you are saving this fish or vegetable in your fridge, and after some days you are eating it. That means you are preserving it. So this process is known as food preservation. But what happens in this case? In your home, you are saving fish or vegetables in fridge. It is a short-term preservation. But here we will consider about preservation which lasts for long duration. Okay, the technical preservation, not the household for household purpose. Okay, in big scale, how these are preserved. For example, in a pickle jar, what happens? The pickles are packed for more than 1 year or half months. Sorry, or half a year. But after 1 year or half a year, you have seen that the packet foods which you buy from the market did not spoil. That means there is some technology which they are using to save this food, right? Similar to our home, how in our home we are saving foods using fridge. So there is some technology which is helping to save this food. So we learn these technologies today, how food is saved or preserved. So it is the topic food preservation. We know that when cooked food or milk is left in a warm or moist place for a long time, it gets spoiled. Okay, we know this. After cooking food at your home or milk, if you keep it at home, what will happen? After some time it will spoil. Okay, but at the same time, we know in market there are milk packets. For example, Amul Taja is there, common milk, we all know Amul Taja. What happens? They are storing the liquid milk, not the powder, liquid milk for months and months. You can keep them in your home for months. Okay, but they didn't spoil. But the normal milk which we get from cow, what happens? After 1 day it will spoil, isn't it? Not, it doesn't take even 1 day, also less than that. So what is causing them to spoil, and why it is not spoiling in case of Amul Taja? So we learn the technique in between this. So in general case, we see that the food in our home, after cooking, they get spoiled. Foods get spoiled. Why they get spoiled? Due to microbial contamination. All these spoilage are caused by microorganisms. In class 6 probably you have learned there are different components of food chain. Okay, then you have learned about composer, decomposer, then producers, herbivore, carnivore, right? So what are decomposer? The microorganisms which help in the decomposition process. So spoilage means what? It is decomposing, it is ultimately it is damaging. So who will help in this process? Different microorganisms. These are decomposers, will help in this process. So why cooked food gets decomposed or spoiled? Because food gets spoiled due to microbial contamination. That is, microbes will attack this. Most microbes cannot grow when or multiply when the, so what are the conditions when microbes cannot grow? In normal condition at our home, we know microbes can grow, but what are the different conditions in which microbes cannot grow? The first condition you all know, in your home, for example, you are keeping fish or meat in open space, it will spoil. But if you keep it in freeze, then it will not spoil. In fridge, what is there? In fridge we know fridge is cold, that means temperature is less. So the first condition is temperature is very low. Okay, one condition you know, when temperature is low, microbes cannot attack. Then the next thing is temperature very high. Very high means you are keeping normal milk and after boiling you are keeping milk. You have seen that at home. Whenever you get milk from cow, what our mother do? First our mother boils the milk and then she stores it. The raw milk she never store. She first boils it and then only she will store it. That means that at high temperature the effect of microbes become less, isn't it? So there are two main conditions. One is very low, fridge, example of fridge, and another is very high temperature, this is the boiling. Okay, boiling of milk. Then conditions are dry, that means the surrounding conditions will be dry. So in dry condition nothing can live, so microbes can live, so ultimately nothing will attack this, no microbes will attack your food. So the three basic conditions are dry, temperature is very low, or temperature is very high. We'll learn each in detail. So what is food preservation? The definition: a method of food preservation ensures that favorable conditions are not provided for microorganisms to grow or multiply. That means food preservation means a method or all methods where the conditions are made such that no microorganism can attack it. For example, again I am repeating, if you are storing fish or meat or vegetables in fridge, that means you are giving the food or fish the environment, the cold environment, so that the microbes cannot attack it, because in cold environment microbes cannot live, isn't it? So we are giving the favorable conditions so that the food can live but the microorganisms cannot grow or multiply. Okay, the process by which spoilage of food is prevented by using chemical or physical methods is called food preservation. So far we are saying that we can use different techniques. The first is temperature, the high or low. Okay, the second is other temperature conditions. So these are, we are controlling the physical conditions, but we can give some chemicals also. So what is food preservation? The process by which we can stop the spoilage of food, that is prevent the spoilage of food by using different chemical or physical methods. Okay, is known as food preservation. So what are the different techniques? First we'll learn about chemical techniques. What are the different chemical techniques to stop food preservation? Food can be preserved by using food preservatives. So the chemicals used for prevention are known as preservatives. Okay, the chemical used for prevention are known as preservation are known as preservative. Okay, so food can be preserved by the using food preservatives. Food preservatives are chemical substances that can check the growth of microbes. I told already, most chemical preservatives prevent microbial growth by removing oxygen from the food items. So microbes and human, we all live on by using oxygen. So what these chemicals do, they will remove all the oxygen. So no oxygen means no life, no microbe can live. So all these chemicals, what they do, they remove the oxygen from the food so that nothing can live in food. Okay, and if nothing will live, then how they will attack? If no oxygen, no microbes will come, no bacteria, no fungi will come, and no spoilage of food. Okay, common examples of chemicals used, that is preservatives used for preservation, are sodium benzoate, then sodium metabisulfate. Okay, it is one example. Then citric acid are common food preservatives. These are examples of food chemicals which are used for preserving food. Sodium benzoate is also used for preserving fruits, juices and squashes. So for fruit juice and squashes, which is used, sodium benzoate is used. Okay, sodium metabisulfate is used for preserving cut fruits, jams and jellies. For cut fruits, jam and jellies, which is used sodium metabisulfate. Okay, then citric acid is used for preservation in confectionaries. Okay, confectionaries. Okay, confectionaries. Okay, I got it. Citric acid are used for preservation of confectionaries. Okay, then preservation, this by chemical method done. Then other preservation methods: preservation by common salt. This example is very common to us. You have seen that after we bought, or our father or mother bought fish from market, what they do, they mix it with haldi and salt. Yeah, I guess all of you have seen the mixing of dry fish. There is a what should I say? The uncooked fish. That means the original form. The fish is the after cutting it is mixed with some salt, right? So why it is done? For ages, people have preserved fish and meat by salting. It is common to all in our home. In every home, it is practiced. The fish is preserved with the help of salt. Not for long time, for some time. Okay. Meat and fish are covered with common salt to prevent the growth of microbes. I've told already that fish and meat can be preserved with the help of common salt. Salting draws out water, moisture from the food and thus prevents the microbial growth. So salt, what will happen? Salt will take out all moisture, or that is all water from the food, and ultimately no microbes can grow in the food then. Salting is also used for other purpose also. So used to preserve amla, raw mangoes and tamarind. For storing these fruits also, the salting process salt is used. Then preservation by sugar also. Sugar is also used for preservation. For example, jam, jellies and squashes are preserved for a long time because of the presence of sugar in them. So jam jellies are preserved for a long time. You have seen that in jams are in small jars are preserved for years. How they are so preserved? Because sugars help the preservation process. How it helps? Sugar inhibits the growth of food spoiling microorganisms by reducing the moisture content of the food. Similar to the salt process, it also removes the water from it. That is, it will remove the water. So ultimately, what will happen? No water means no moisture, and no moisture means no microbial growth. Okay. Sugars and jam and jellies. Okay, sugar done. Then preservation by oil and vinegars. So oil and vinegars are also used for preservation. Oil and vinegar preserve for growth of food spoilage bacteria. Mustard oil and vinegar. Okay, chicory are widely used for preservation of fruits and vegetables in the form of pickles. Meat, fish would also prepare for method. Okay, so you have known that oil and vinegars. In case of pickle, you all know pickle. In pickle, what is the how it is formed? There vinegar is used for pickle production and oil is used. Okay, we along with other vegetables. So this vinegar is a chemical and this oil helps to prevent the growth of microbes, and this is why pickles are stored in our home or in shop for years or months. Okay, and meat and fish also you have seen in home. For storing fish, what our mother do, they just fry the fish in oil. That means after frying it, microbes cannot attack it. Okay, so oil is also used for preserving fish and oil, fish and meat also. So far is this, whatever we learned so far, these are all common techniques, right? This salt process, sugar process, and chemical is also not common, but okay, we can consider it. Okay, then we have physical process such as pasteurization. Pasteurization is a famous process. Pasteurization is a process for preservation of milk. All the milk we eat today, the liquid milk, there is a Amul Taja type milk, all are preserved with the help of pasteurization process. In this method, milk is heated about 70 degrees centigrade for 15 to 30 seconds to kill the bacteria present in it, and cooled quickly to 10 degrees centigrade to prevent the remaining bacteria from the growing. The milk is then stored in sterilized bottles or pouches in cold places. Okay, pasteurized milk can be consumed without boiling because it is free of harmful microorganisms. This is Louis Pasteur in 1862. Okay, what this process do? First, let us consider one example. If I give you any, for example, a chicken, okay, a living chicken, and first you boil it in hot water, okay, then you again cool it in fridge. What will happen? It will die. Similarly, for example, in our human beings also, if you first boil human being in hot flame and then you cool it in fridge, what will happen? Human will also die. Okay, so microbes are nothing in comparison to human. So if you boil first microbes in high temperature like 70 degrees centigrade for 15 to 30 seconds, and then you are again cooling in 10 degrees centigrade, so what will happen? All microbes will die. So this dual temperature treatment, that means first you are boiling in high temperature, that is 70 degree for some 15 to 30 seconds, then you are again cooling it in low temperature, so all microbes will die, and this double temperature treatment is known as pasteurization, and this temperature is used for killing all the bacteria from the or microbes from the milk. After this process is over, you can they pack the milk in sterilized, that means bottles in which microbes are not there. Okay, clean bottle, they will pack it and they will sell it. So who discovered this pasteurization process? The scientist name is Louis Pasteur in 1862 discovered this process. And remember this name because this name is very very important, because whatever you are reading today, the microbiology, the whole chapter, this chapter 2, this all microbiology was started with this scientist Louis Pasteur. So he is known as the father of microbiology. Okay, remember this. There are other techniques also, such as by cooling or freezing. Fruits, vegetable, meats are cooked or kept at temperature in refrigerator and deep freezers to prevent the storage of food. Low temperature prevents the storage of food. Okay, in the beginning I explained that foods can be stored with the help of temperature treatment, that is low temperature or high temperature. Okay, so whenever we store food, vegetables or fish in low temperature in fridge, microbes cannot attack it, so ultimately they are preserved. By dehydration, since moisture is one of the main requirement of the microbial growth, removal of water from the material is an effective point. So the process of removal of water substance, dehydration. Sun drying is a traditional method of presenting foods which okay. Then dehydration. Dehydration means removing of water from any sub object. Okay, for example, after rice cultivation, people have seen that rice is it is dried in hot sun. That means the water is removed from the water. There will be some water in the seed, it will be removed from the seed. Sun will the sun will help in evaporating all the water from it, and ultimately the rice seed will become dry. This is why after cultivation you have seen rice is dried in hot sun. Okay, so this process of removing water is known as dehydration, and sun drying is the most common. It is used in rice and other wheat and pulses. It's all of you know. Okay, nowadays dry fruits and dry vegetables are sold in sealed airtight packets to prevent the attack of microorganisms. Now you have seen the dry fruits and dry vegetables are sold in small packets in which there is air cannot pass, air is inside it. For example, chips also, in chips air cannot pass in or out. There is some fixed in air inside, so packet is sealed so that microbes cannot enter. So what are the advantages of prevention? So why we are preventing these microbes? It decreases the wastage of food by avoiding spoilage. So if microbes will attack food, what will happen? They will waste food. It will we don't want any to food to waste, right? Food is too costly, so we don't want food to waste. So this is why the first reason is, this is why we prevent microbes. Then it increases the storage period of food materials. So whenever you use preservation techniques, for example fridge, or this is dehydration, hot sun, or you are using salting or sugar technique, what happens? The food is stored for a long time. You can store food for a long time, right? For example, in this lockdown period, what happened? To go market every day is difficult. So if your father goes market today, he will bring too much vegetable, then you can store in fridge and you can eat for next 5 days, isn't it? So storing has this preservation helps in storage of food. Nutritional value of food is retained for a long period, and microbes, what they do, they are ultimately getting the nutrition from the food. They are spoiling it and they are getting the nutrition, useful nutrition for themselves. But if you are not allowing them to grow in food, what will happen? Your food will have all the original nutrition it was having. Nothing will be taken by the microbes. It ensures the availability of food at distant places and drying the off season. Okay, it ensures availability of food at distant places and during the off season. Okay, what happens? Food is cultivated in, for example, rice is cultivated in particular season of a year, and the rest of the year people just grind the rice in the mill and they eat. So if microbes will attack all rice, what will happen? For the remaining 6 months there will be no rice. We all have to die because of starvation. So we need to ensure that the food is available for the whole year, and during off season also food is available, so that we need to take care that no microbe will affect our food. This is why after cultivation rice is dried properly, or in some cases you have seen that the rice is also boiled. In our common language people tell it as siddho chal, boiled rice. You have heard this term, right? So boiled rice means they are boiling at high temperature. You have learned this. Boiling will kill the microbes. Okay, I guess so far it is clear. So I thought today will finish, but today not able to finish because only one topic left, nitrogen fixation, but it is a long topic. Okay, it will need one more class. So okay, up to this much for today. Thank you. In the next class, we will finish the chapter. Thank you. Now you can ask your doubts in WhatsApp, and in the next class, along with the chapter, I'll continue with question answer. And today also, I'll upload your homework in the group. You will try to finish by today and submit it to me. Thank you.